Hi, this is Richard Quack here, coming to you live from Malaysia. I would like to welcome you to my weekly live video, and in today's session, I would like to talk about personal development, and the topic is training fleas. Now, this is a very interesting topic because it relates to us as human beings. All right, we are creatures of habits, and we can be conditioned easily over our lives. Okay, so now how do you train fleas? Well, what you need is a glass jar with a lid. All right, a glass jar with a lid. Now you put the fleas into the jar. Firstly, without the lid. Now, guess what? The fleas will keep on jumping out of the glass jar because the lid is not there. All right, it keeps on jumping out. Okay. Then what happened is that later on you put the fleas inside the jar. All right, and cover up with the lid. Okay, and what you do is that you leave it for 3 full days. Now, you know what happened after that? All right, after that, you remove the lid, and guess what? The fleas now, even though with the lid being removed, it cannot jump out of the jar because it has been conditioned to jump just to the lid. All right, so it cannot jump out of the jar. And what happened is that, if you pour the fleas out of the jar, put it on the tabletop, okay? Let's say you put it on the tabletop. Guess what? Without the jar and without the lid, all right, the fleas will just jump to the exact height of the lid. That's all. All right, to the exact height of the lid. Now, the interesting part is that not only that, all right, but the scientists found out that, the offspring of these fleas inherit that conditioning as well. The offspring, that means the children, all right, the fleas, the baby fleas inherit that sort of quality as well. That means they cannot jump higher than what they were conditioned to jump. You see, this is how we humans have been conditioned throughout our whole life. This is so true, isn't it true? Most of us are like fleas. We have been conditioned to such a way that, we cannot outperform our self-image. All right, just like, we have been jumping and jumping in a jar with a lid on top. And once we reach the top, all right, we cannot go any further. And once you cannot go any further over a period of time, we, in our mind, have been conditioned that we cannot jump out higher, okay, or jump out of the jar. That is sad, but it is very true. All right, and the worst thing is that the offspring also, are conditioned to jump to that height. That's all. They cannot go further. Just imagine, we as human beings, honest truth, we have the potential to achieve whatever we want. But the problem is that because of the conditioning throughout our life, we have been conditioned to just perform to that level. That's all. Now, if you notice, a person that is earning, say, 2,000 ringgit a month, all right, that is the limit. That's all. And if they get motivated and so on, all right, or they get fired by the boss and so on, now they probably work harder and they can earn up to 3,000. But guess what? Because the conditioning limit is 2,000, after a while, it will drop down to 2,000 again. That is how we live our life with all this conditioning, my friend. It's so sad, isn't it true? It is so sad that we have been conditioned just like fleas. And the truth is that it's not only fleas. There are many other stories, which I'm not going to tell you here. But today I just talk about fleas. That's all. And it is very sad because most of us are not fleas. We are human. We have more intelligence. But the sad truth is that we have been conditioned over a period of time to only perform at that level, and we can't go further. All right, probably we have been conditioned by the environment. We have been conditioned by our parents, by our the peers, the friends that we have. We have been conditioned throughout our whole life, and we do not have to be conditioned that way. We can jump out of the jar, that's for sure. We can jump higher. The only thing is that once you have been conditioned or have been programmed that way, you cannot outperform it. All right, you cannot outperform it. That is the sad thing about it. So for those of you who are parents here, right, most of us are guilty, of conditioning our children as well. All right, sometimes we tell our children, oh, you won't make it, you are not smart enough, and so on. So these are all the conditioning which we unconsciously put on our children. That's why they are like that. All right. So basically, although we are not fleas, right, we are smarter. We have better mindset. All right. But the truth is that we have been conditioned this way. We cannot outperform what the conditioning we have been conditioned with. Okay, so that is all my sharing for today. I hope that you learned something here. It is already coming to the middle of January, right? It's a new year. So basically think for yourself. All right. If you have been conditioned to such an extent that you cannot exceed your expectation, then you have to start thinking again and reprogram yourself and tell yourself that I can do better than that. I can do better than that. Of course, I'm not going to talk about the ways of how to do it. And probably one of the things that I mentioned previously was auto-suggestion. Suggest to yourself that you are better, you can do better, and you can keep on repeating it. Okay, so that's all my sharing for today. I hope that you learned something here. If you like what you hear and see, please feel free to like, to share, and to comment. I appreciate that you spend your time with me here. So I will see you again for another session of my live video on Friday. Okay, so this is Richard Quack wishing you good night and goodbye.